Morning, children. Welcome to Virtual Studio Sundargarh. I am Shashibhusan Hota, Master, Government High School, Devli. Today we'll be discussing on unseen passage meant for class 9. As you know, this is also very important from the examination point of view. In your essay 1 and essay 2, you are normally given a passage which is unseen. You have not seen it before. That's why we call it unseen passage. See this passage for the first time, read it very carefully, at least 3 times. First, for getting the main ideas. Second time, to know the detailed ideas, what is there in the passage. And while you go for the third reading, you also try to answer to the questions that follow one by one. Normally, there are 5 questions at the end of the passage. So answers are there in the passage. You have to scan the particular answer that lies in the passage. Priya chhatra chhatri, unseen passage re अनेक समय रे पिला माने कॉपी करंती परंतु फास्ट प्रश्न देला तापरे से माने कोन करंती एग्जैक्टली से सेंटेंस को से माने उत्तर देबे. In that case you will be penalized, you will not get full marks. Remember, unseen passage carries 10 marks or 5 questions. That means each question carries 2 marks. Number 2, you have to answer to the questions as far as practicable in your own words. Not that you will copy exactly what is there in the passage. That's why it depends upon your comprehension, your understanding the passage. You read the passage carefully, at least 3 times as I told you, and then you write the answer legibly, the beautiful handwriting in full sentence. At least it should be in about 20 words. Not necessarily, sometimes it may be less than, but not too long. Very short questions, very, very short questions. So that's why the length is in about 20 words. Now let's go to the slide. What is an unseen passage? On the smart board, you see it. Unseen passage is the study of comprehension, which is an art to enable a student to comprehend the main ideas and supporting details contained in the passage. It needs a thorough study and understanding of the passage. Point is, unseen passage mane hela je eta jone silently read karibo এবং ସେଥିରେ जो मेन पॉइंट्स आउ सपोर्टिंग डिटेल्स जहाँ अच्छी ସେଇଟାକୁ ବୁଝିବାର ଅଛି. ଯଦି ଗୋଟେ ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟ ସେତିକି କରିଦେଲା ଲାଇଫରେ କ୍ଲାସ୍ 9 ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟ ହିସାବରେ ସେଇ ସ୍କିଲଟା ସେଇ ଟେକ୍ନିକଟା ଯଦି ତମର ଏବେଠୁ କଲଚର ହେଇଗଲା ହେବିଟ ହେଇଗଲା ତମେ ଜାଣି ପକେଇଲ ତାହେଲେ ଆମେ ଜାଣିବା ଯେ ତୁମେ ଅନସିନ୍ ପ୍ୟାସେଜର ଯେତେବେଳେ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚନ ସେଗମେଣ୍ଟକୁ ଯିବ ଅସୁବିଧା ହେବ ନାହିଁ. ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଅନସିନ୍ ପ୍ୟାସେଜଟାକୁ it is solid mark fetching. That's why you should not ignore it from your mind. You should be very serious. You should be careful, attentive, a lot to read the passage with patience. Further saita tike तुमे से passage टा carefully पढ़िबार अछि. तापरे हमें next question देइछु, why is an unseen passage? The main objective of comprehension exercise is to test one's ability to grasp the meaning of a given passage properly and also one's ability to answer in one's own words. It develops the skill of student to inform information and message from it. It is for the development of language skills. So, this is objective katha ethi utela. Why? Ethi actually जଣା पडुची कि गुटे स्टूडेंट रो केते एबिलिटी अछि केते कॉम्पिटेंस अछि तार केते कैपेबिलिटी अछि केते दक्षता अछि जे गुटे पैसेज को से साइलेंटली पढी कि तार मीनिंग टा को से ग्रैस्प करूची अंडरस्टैंड करूची एट द सेम टाइम the student is also able to answer the questions that follow. That means the student has understood the passage. Now given the context जदि मन करंतु गोटे पिला फेल मारी गला प्रश्न गुड़ाक पढ़ुची किंतु उत्तर दे पारु नहीं. That means the student has not understood the passage. That's why it is reading the passage very carefully. Now what to do? Number one, read the passage quickly to get the general idea of the subject matter. Good passage, good delia mane, तुमको सेठी look te देवार अछि, reading करिवार अछि, कोन what is there exactly in the passage? Main idea टा कोन? Theme टा कोन? Subject matter टा कोन? सेही जिंसटा तुमर माइंड रे आसीबार अछि. हेले तुमे आकु बढ़ी पारिबो. Second, read the passage again and underline the important points. Clear understanding of the passage. And second reading kahi कहू छु. Second reading कहिबार माने हला जे जदि कोटी important points गुडा को अछि, obviously there will be important points. Why not underline the important points when you go for the second reading? Third, read the questions and underline the portions where the probable answers may be available. So that's why we also tell you for the third step जे जोठी तामाने probable answer गुडा को अछि से गुडा को मध्य तुमको underline करिवार अछि. Fourth रे आमे लेइछु try to write the answer in your own words in a precise and brief way. I have already told you, when you answer the questions, try to answer it in a precise manner, not like an essay, not lengthy. So maybe very short sentence. That's why your answer should be very precise. Always use a complete sentence while answering a question, not a word or a phrase. Unseen passage रो उत्तर लेखला बळे आमे पूर्ण वाक्य रे full sentence रे उत्तर टा आमे दबा. हेले जेइकरी तामाने परीक्षक भी तुमको पूरा मार्क देबे. So that is also very important from the examination point of view. So while you answer the questions in unseen passage, write in full sentence. Full sentence. पूरा sentence लेखिबो पूरा sentence last रे full stop दबो. Full stop देला माने जणा गला जे सेटा full sentence. Remember that comprehension test doesn't mean copying sentences from the passage. I have already told you. Don't copy the sentences exactly. To read the passage carefully and understand it, and when you answer the questions in your own language, in your own words, that means you have understood it. So be careful. Let's proceed to the next slide. Here I have written something, extensive writing. What is that? You know, students, the ultimate aim of reading is to develop reading competence which is both critical and efficient, and to foster the habit of reading for information as well as for pleasure. To accomplish this aim, students ought to know clearly the meaning of reading, the types of reading, and the various reading techniques. Reading should not be restricted to prescribed text. As human knowledge expands faster than we can cope with, supplementary reading should form part of any course of. That means reading is a matter of habit. If you read very fast and you are also able to understand what is there in the passage at the same time, you are a good reader. And it's also for pleasure. It is not only for getting information, at the same time it is also for getting pleasure. That's great. Super. Now here I have mentioned 2 points. Students need experience to acquire confidence to read new books, to talk, to write sensibly about them. If they do not have practice, fear of failure will drive them to bizarre notes and guides. परंतु गोटे पिला बुझू नै से पैसेज टा पढला परे भी obviously आजिकली जो टीबीडब्ल्यू एमबीडी बाजार नोट्स से रिसोर्ट करूची ताको तार सहाय्य नउची ता माने सेटा आ तार आ राइटिंग है आ हला नै सेटा तो एमबीडी रो राइटिंग सेटा तो टीबीडब्ल्यू रो राइटिंग तुम निजर राइटिंग हला कि खाली हमें गोटे जुडे बही जो तुम तो एमटी यू हैव बीन प्रेस्क्राइब ओनली 2 बुक्स गोटे होची स्किल्स ऑफ कम्युनिकेटिव इंग्लिश आरटा होची लर्न एंड प्रैक्टिस ग्रामर क्लास 9 रे दीटा बही दिया हिची तुम आ बाहरे भी तुम्हें आउरी 2-4टा बही इंग्लिश रे पढिबा दरकार. A course for 2 or 3 years is too long a period to spend on just 3 or 4 texts. Our students should be trained to learn on their own, and this can be done by introducing them to extensive reading at the earliest opportunity. पढिबार माने हला जे तुमे बेसी आउ केते गुडी बही सहित एक्सपोज हेबा कथा पढिबा कथा हेले तुमर से कल्चर टा आउरी जके सुंदर हबो. Acquiring more information about topics already studied. हमें एटा भी गोटे कारण अछि. Extensive reading is for pleasure. it always has to be faster than intensive. Intensive reading means detailed जोटा हमें reading means fast reading and it's also for pleasure. एबे पिला माने देखिबा गोटे पैसेज टे exactly unseen passage रे कोन करा जाउछ. So here is an example. Look at the instruction. Read the following passage carefully and try to answer the questions in about 20 words in your own words. That's important. 2 into 5 equals to 10. That means there will be 5 questions followed by the passage. Each question carries 2 marks. So if you are able to answer all the 5 questions correctly, you'll be getting 10 marks. And look at the paragraph. It's a real life रे कोन होय पिला माने तुमे निजे पढिबो एटा साइलेंट. एठी हमर वर्चुअल रे स्टूडियो रे एते स्कोप नाही जे तामे तुमको पुनी समय देबु एवं तापरे तुमे पढिबो. एते पय मु सीधा सड़क पैसेज को जाउछि. ए जो पैसेज ता मैं नै छु. India is a hot country. When the rain stops, we find many of the streams and rivers are dried up. Water is very scarce. Ashoka had lots of wells dug so that people would always have plenty of water for drinking and cooking, for bathing, and for keeping things clean. In the hot weather, the rays of the sun cause great discomfort, sometimes serious suffering to men and to animals. Also gave orders that those kinds of trees which provide shade were to be planted by the roadsides. The sight of the beautiful flowers and trees is pleasant to the eyes. To walk among them brings health to body and mind and gives us pure and noble thoughts. So, Ashoka took care that there were public gardens for his people. He had gardens planted also in which would grow herbs that would give medicine to heal diseases. See, people have a far better chance of getting well again if they get proper care. So Ashoka founded hospitals. Ashoka gave orders that all men should be taught to be polite and kind to servants, and they should be respectful to those older than themselves. So ठीक है शीघ्र पढ़ी देली तमे जते बेले पढुछ साइलेंटली आ टिके स्लो भी हे पारे. एटारे गोटे रीडिंग मु मारली किंतु प्रैक्टिकली तमे एटा को कम से कम दुईटा रीडिंग तो निहाती करिवार अछि. गोटे फर्स्ट रीडिंग कर देबार अछि इमीडिएटली. व्हाई? टू गेट द मेन आइडिया. आहा बाबद रे एटा ऑब्वियसली ए लुकटा देला परे रीडिंग टा फर्स्ट रीडिंग रे जणा पड़ी गेला जे नहीं एटा अशोक जे हमर सम्राट थिले से पूरा ट्रीज माने लगेई थिले रास्ता कोडा बहुत गुडे गछ लगेई थिले एवं मेडिसिनल गछ भी किछि लगेई थिले. एटा सी जो यूजफुलनेस ऑफ ट्रीज ऊपर एटा गोटे पैसेज ते. एबे देखिबा क्वेश्चंस. दीज आर द क्वेश्चंस. How many questions are there? 5 questions. Why did Ashoka have lots of wells dug? What happens when the rain stops in India? How is the sight of beautiful flowers and trees useful to us? What did Ashoka do for the people? What did Ashoka say about education? Now let's go to the first question. Why did Ashoka have lots of wells dug? A question that jodi gote pila bujhi gala. The answer to the question lies in the passage. Passage ro achi ame sei passage ku puri jiba ta mane au gote reading pai. Why did Ashoka have lots of wells dug? Now see, if you see the passage, if you read the passage, now look at the second line. Ashoka had lots of wells dug so that people would always have plenty of water for drinking and cooking, for bathing and for keeping things clean. देखुछन्ते ना पिला माने एटे पूरा स्पष्ट भाव रे आपनकर एई प्रश्नर उत्तर एठी दिया आइछि. जोटा मु अंडरलाइन करूछि एठी दिया आइछि. एटा खाली तुमको टिके निज लैंग्वेज निज वर्ड रे टिके लिखि देले बोल कंप्लीट सेंटेंस. नाउ if we go to the second question, what happens when the rain stops in India? तो बे टेंस भी देखुथिबो. ए प्रथम क्वेश्चन ता टेंस ता थिला पास्ट क्वेश्चन पास्ट टेंस रे थिला. सेति आंसर भी हमें पास्ट टेंस रे देबे. सेकंड क्वेश्चन अछि प्रेजेंट टेंस रे, प्रेजेंट सिंपल रे. दैट्स व्हाई आंसर मस्ट बी इन प्रेजेंट सिंपल. नाउ गो टू द पैराग्राफ. ए प्रश्नर उत्तर पैराग्राफ रे देखो. Second question, what is second question? What happens when the rain stops in India? When the rain stops in India, what happens? You see, when the rain stops in India, First, it is when the rain stops in India, we find many of the streams and rivers are dried up. Streams and rivers are dried up. Water is very scarce. Question second up first. Question number 3. How is the sight of beautiful flowers and trees useful to us? How is the sight, जदि आमे देखिबा beautiful flowers, beautiful trees जदि आमे देखिबा, how it is useful to us? For that, again you have to go to the paragraph, and in the paragraph you have to try to find it out. कोठी ए जिनिसटा तामाने अछि. You see, the sight of the flowers, beautiful flowers and trees is pleasant to the eyes. देखी देले आनंद आसी जाए, आखि खुशी ही जाए. To walk among them brings health to body and mind and gives us pure and noble thoughts. Question number 3. Now let's go to number 4. What did Asoka do for the people? Who answer your question ta? Yes, it is in past tense. So answer also must be written in past tense. So for that, what did Asoka do for the people? For that, again you have to go to the paragraph. Again read the paragraph and try to scan the particular answer in the passage. Asoka actually kona kale lokamanka pai. You see, took care that there were public gardens for each people. He had gardens planted also in which would grow herbs for that would give medicine to heal diseases. What did Asoka say about education? This is the last question. Last question about education. You see, Asoka founded hospital. Asoka gave orders that all men should be taught to be polite and kind to servants. Kahi se koithile je tamane सबु लोक कोन हेबा कथा, polite हेबा कथा, kind हेबा कथा, particularly to servants, and they should be respectful to those older than je older, nijo to je boro, je senior. हमें ताको respect दो कि नहीं? सेही जिंस Asoka केबे to कहिसन जे when you come across with the senior citizens, with the older people, then you must give respect, proper respect to them. Now for that actually we have also given the answers. 5 questions ro ethi ame that answer guda ko bhi lekhi deichu. You can take a look. We have already discussed the same thing is also there. Why did Asoka have lots of wells dug? So Asoka had lots of well dug so that people would always have plenty of water for drinking and cooking, for bathing and for keeping things clean. Purpose ta kahi se ete gude kuo khulitile chariade purpose ete diya diya. Full sentence re. What happens when the rain stops in India? When the rain stops, the streams and rivers are dried up. Sukhi jaye sab barsa bon hoye gele. Water is scarce. And ye pani ro obhav dekha jaye. Third question. How is the sight of beautiful flowers and trees useful to us? The sight of the beautiful flowers and trees is pleasant to the eye. To walk among them brings health to body and mind and gives us pure and noble thought. Beautiful flowers dekhile, trees dekhile. Obviously, it is not only beautiful, it is not only charming, but at the same time, it also, it gives a fresh, noble thought, ideas. That's important. What did Asoka do for the people? Asoka had gardens planted in which would grow herbs that would give medicine to heal diseases. Miti plant lageba katha, joda grow kariba katha, herb gudako, is same medicine ta, tamane lokonkoro jo disease gudako thibo, se disease gudaku heal kari paribo, upasama kari paribo. Mane bhalo hi paribe, arogyo hi paribe. Emti medicinal plant eta hala number 4. Last number re ame kohuchu, what did Asoka say about education? Question number 5. Education upare se kona kahile, शिक्षा upare. So eta kede sundar likhe diya jaichi. Asoka said that all men should be taught. Sabbu lokonko eta शिक्षा diya jiba uchi. Pratyek loka janiba uchi. That they should be polite and kind to servants. Kamo karanti servant gudako. So prati tome why should you be rude and unkind? Oh, hardworking. They are obeying your orders. You must be polite and kind to servants. And they should be respectful to those older than themselves. This passage is ethic. I mean, out a passage in each eta koti each for the onsen passage. 2. It will say instruction achi. Read the passage carefully and try to answer the questions in about 20 words as far as possible in your own words. We say 10 marks, 5 questions that will follow. Jhalkari was an orphan. She was a bold and fearless little girl. She loved to climb the trees and swim in the river and play the games that people call boys' games. The villagers liked her because she was a willing worker and would stand long hours of strain and hardship. It is said that she had fought a leopard single-handed in the jungle, and the ferocious animal had been killed by the little girl with nothing more than a sturdy stick. After that, they nicknamed her Jhalkari, the tigress. When she was 13, she was married to a soldier in Rani Lakshmibai's army. He no longer lived in the village and went away to live with him in Jhansi. He hoped to be offered a job there. One day the Rani chanced to see her. She shall be my companion, the Rani ordered. He liked the girl because of her frank and fearless looks. They became good friends, and every day the two young people went out riding together. They fenced and wrestled and practiced shooting with revolver and gun. She was with the Rani all the time. Ito sundar gopata dekho pilamane. Etare madhya tume first training de debo jani bogile je nai eta gote Jhalkari baguni tigress se gote orphan je ki bapa ma chhundo thila jio a babodri dia jaisi ଏବଂ ସେ କେମିତି ଲାଷ୍ଟରେ ରାଣୀ ଲକ୍ଷ୍ମୀବାଇ ର ସେ ଗୋଟେ କମ୍ପାନିୟନ ହେଇଗଲା, ଫ୍ରେଣ୍ଡ ହେଇଗଲା, ଗୋଟେ ତାର ସହଚରୀ ହେଇଗଲା, ସେଇ ବାବଦରେ ଏଠି ଦିଆଯାଇଛି। କେତେ ସେ ଫିୟରଲେସ୍, କେତେ ଫ୍ରାଙ୍କ ଥିଲା, ସେଇ ବାବଦରେ ଏଠି ଦିଆଯାଇଛି। Let's go to the questions. What was Jhalkari like? This is the question. What was Jhalkari like? So for this question, if you have to go to the passage and you have to scan the particular answer. Look at the second sentence. She was a bold and fearless little girl. It was her answer. She was bold and fearless little girl. Question number 2. What did she love to do? Very simple question. What did she love to do? Immediately after that, she loved to climb the trees and swim in the river and play the games that people call boys' games. Yopila, kintu, kono se bhal pautila? Climb trees, gocha chadiya pai, swim in the river, nodire santaran kariya pai, play the games, jota loke kahibe mane boys' games. Ei gudako se bhal pautila. Second question. Question is past tense, answer be past tense. Third, why did the villagers like her? This is the guy, na? So the villager mane, why did they like her? Kahin kita ko bhal paile? Jodi seita ko dekhiya pai chahibo, again you have to go to the third. For the third question, again you have to go to the paragraph. The villagers liked her because she was a willing worker and could stand long hours of strain and hardship. कितने सुंदर क्वालिटी देखो पर्सनालिटी दे। देखो willing worker जहाँ काम दे वो फटाफट कर दे वैसे। No objection, nothing. Willing worker इच्छा मने से सब वेले काम करिया पाए। एवं she could stand long hours of strain and hardship. घंटा घंटा धरी करी तामने छिरा है करी कठोर परिश्रम से करी पारुला without any objection and without any complaint. किंतु बहुत कम लोग सुनता है। किंतु she was that type of girl. Number D. Why did she live in Jhansi? एटा के कोई परियो पिला माने ए टाइप रा क्रिटिकल क्वेश्चन बड़े बड़े एग्जाम रे आसे. Why did she live in Jhansi? एटा डायरेक्ट उत्तर नहीं तो के कोई परियो. Anybody? के कोई परियो? Can anybody in the studio? एते सो स्कूल पिला माने देखुछंती हमरो सुंदर सुंदर पिला माने very smart children. राष्ट्रीय विद्यालय कोई परिवे. Why did she live in Jhansi? एटा विलेजर थिला. ए विलेजर केंदे झांसी रे कहीं के रहला. Who can say? Town high school? You are taking your own time. For that you have to go to the passage. You see, it is lekha aichi. Horinala gote inferential question. Infer kariyo padibo. किंतु किछिटा क्लू मध्य एथिरे अछि आंसर रो देबा पई एथि पई तुमे देखो जे सी वाज मैरिड टू ए सोल्जर इन रानी लक्ष्मीबाई's आर्मी एते बाहा ही गला आ सेटा को रानी लक्ष्मीबाई रो आर्मी रो गोटे सोल्जर को से सोल्जर तो काम करे झांसी रे तेणु बाहा हेले से शाशुघर को जीव कि नहीं दैट्स व्हाई he went to Jhansi. He lived in Jhansi. How did the Rani and Jhalkari become good friends? How did? दी जण केमती good friends हे गेले देखो पिला माने जे दिने कोन हेछि रानी chance to see her. She shall be my companion. The Rani ordered. She liked the girl because of her frank and fearless looks. एटा से माने से बहुत निर्भीक अछि फ्रैंक अछि स्पष्टवादी अछि एटा रानी को बहुत भल लागि तो से माने दी जण सांग हे गेले फॉर दैट वी हैव आल्सो गिवन द आंसर्स व्हाट वाज Jhalkari like फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन आंसर Jhalkari was a bold and fearless little girl she was heroic though an orphan. Question number B. What did she love to do? Jhalkari loved to climb trees and swim in the river and play the game that people call boys' camps. Number C. Why did the villagers like her? The villagers liked her because she was a willing worker and could stand long hours of strain and hot sea. D. Why did she live in Jhansi? She was married to a soldier in Rani Lakshmibai's army at the age of 13. She no longer lived in the village and went away to live with her husband in Jhansi. Finally, the last question. How did the Rani and Jhalkari become good friends? One day, Lakshmibai chanced to see her. She was so impressed with her frank and fearless looks that she chose her to be her companion. Jhalkari proved her worth and thus they became good friends. समय क्रमे से Jhalkari मध्य से तार worth से तार योग्यता से प्रमाण कर देछि से तो रानी was very impressed with this frank and fearless you looked देले देखिले एमती झियो तो से के जीवन देखि नांती तो बहुत fearless अछि frank अछि तापरे ये मध्य सेमती प्रमाणित कर देला तांको तार योग्यता से both of them became good friends. We have also given you some tips like types of questions एउडा को प्राय परीक्षा रे आसे ग्लोबल क्वेश्चन जोटा overall ideas ପାଇଁ factual question WH question गुडा को डायरेक्ट सीधा सड़क उत्तर मिलुथबो inferential question एबे जिमते गुटे पचार देली why did she live in Jhansi ए टाइप रो गेस करियो पड़िबो इन्फॉर्मेशन को बेस करके इवैल्यूएटिव क्वेश्चन ता इवैल्यूएट करियो पड़िबो एवं प्रेडिक्टिव क्वेश्चन प्रेडिक्ट करियो पड़िबो एटा रीडिंग तुमको मु कहि सारी छी फर्स्ट रीडिंग सेकंड रीडिंग थर्ड रीडिंग याते निहाती करते पड़िबो you have to write in your own words as far as practicable. And while you are writing, take care of spelling, grammar, punctuation, simple language, etc. Edit your answer if necessary. And finally, we have also given you one home task. On-scene passage number 3. This is also a story, Russian story, based on Russian story, of Valdivin and Okino. Ita madhya tume padhigiri. Question in the town of Vladimir lived a young merchant named Ivan Akinov. He had 2 shops and a house of his own. Akinov was a handsome, curly-haired fellow, full of fun and very fond of singing. One summer, Akinov was going to the Nizhny fair. He bade goodbye to his family. His wife said to him, Ivan Timovich, do not start today. I have had a bad dream about you. I dreamed you returned from the town, and when you took off your cap, I saw that your hair was quite gray. That's a lucky sign, said he. So he said goodbye to his family and drove away. When he had traveled halfway, he met a merchant whom he knew. They put up at the same inn for the night. They had some tea together and then went to bed in adjoining rooms. It was not Akinov's habit to sleep late, and wishing to travel while it was still cold, he paid his bill and continued his journey. When he had gone about 25 miles, he stopped for the horses to be fed. He then rested for a while in the passage of an inn. Who was Ivan Akinov? B. What was he like? C. Why did his wife ask him not to start his journey that day? Where did Ivan stay for the night? Why did Akino stop again? It is your WH question pilamane directly the panchata question. And you will get the answer to the 5 questions directly in the passage. What you need, you have to move to the passage and you have to answer the question. Thank you very much, my dear children. You have to be very, very careful, and you have to very a lot while answering these questions. And you should read the passage at least 3 times. First time, very fast. Second time, bit slow, detailed reading. And third time, reading vis-a-vis writing your answers. On-scene passage, very, very important from the examination point of. I hope you will not ignore this part for your examination and enjoy reading and answering to the questions for on-scene passage. Okay, wish you all the best. Wish you for a happy reading. Thank you.